Hi, this is Amber.
And this is Lisa.
And you're listening to Unexplained Arkansas, a new podcast that explores urban legends, mysteries, and the unsolved in the natural state.
We're just two best friends discussing the unexplained in Arkansas.
Hello and welcome to Unexplained Arkansas. This is Amber.
And this is Lisa.
Oh my gosh. I was trying to play it super duper cool, not laugh, because my husband makes fun of me every time I start it and I laugh. It's because you make me laugh right before every single time you say something really funny. And you were talking
Before we start.
Yes, you were talking about your cat memes you were looking at 1 a.m. today, so...
Yes, and that's why I slept until about 9:30.
Yeah, and I had already
And it was glorious.
Yeah, well, I'd already been at my designated spot for 3.5 hours by that time. So today we are going to talk about...
But let's discuss.
What?
Discuss where you were this morning and why.
I was...
Tell him.
I was at one of our colleges helping out with visitors and people coming to look at the eclipse. Where were you today?
Like this morning, I was in bed. And
I was going to say, you were sleeping. You told me, I'm going to pick you up at 10 o'clock, and then we're going to do this, this, and that. And then I talked to you at like 10:10, and you were still laid up in the bed.
Yes, that's exactly the truth. And then from there, we'll discuss later. Yeah, it was glorious. It was glorious. I had a pivot. So my initial total eclipse of the heart plan was to spend it at Lion Stadium, and the gates were going to open at 10. And so I had made that plan like a week ago. But I will say the town has been empty. And so I didn't feel like getting up and rushing around. So there. So then I pivoted.
You pivoted. Well, and when you pivoted, you, went to lunch and then went and watched the eclipse?
Yes, yes, this morning I did learn. I had a very sad morning, and my manager, mentor, friend, she was a fan of ours. She had passed.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry.
Thank you. And that was difficult. I just love her. But it's for the glory of God. She was such a Christian lady. And so I know she's in the arms of Jesus. But she had wanted to watch the eclipse. So I was a little sad. But anyway, and her name is Gwen. So she had grown up in Bald Knob. Actually, Russell Bald Knob. Anyway, she worked at the Market Cafe there in Bald Knob when she was great. And she would tell us all these stories. And I have never eaten there. And so we went to eat there. And it was amazing.
Really? I've never been there.
Okay, now I had not either, but this is a weird little tidbit too. Last night I dreamt, for whatever reason, about crinkle fries. I'm laughing because I don't know why. I don't know the circumstances.
I do.
Do you? Do you?
Because you love a good fry. I do.
I do love
you do.
Especially like a good crinkle fry. And so we went to the Market Cafe, and I was like, what are the fries? And she's like, oh, they're crinkle. And I'm like, oh, Gwen. And I just was like, thank you, Gwen. Like, they were the best crinkle fry. I had a cheeseburger and crinkle fries. And then afterwards we went to the Bulldog. And
so you did go to the Bulldog, because that's where we usually go when we go to Bald Knob. And then when I'm with you, that's where we usually go, unless we go to the Pizza Plus or whatever.
I love Pizza Plus.
Yeah, they have some good restaurants in Bald Knob.
They really do.
Actually.
They have Hoodats. They have that marketplace, or is it Market Cafe? The Market Cafe, the Bulldog, the Pizza Plus. Yes, they're amazing. I got me and Daryl got chocolate shakes. I will say, I'm going to do a plug for the Bulldog. They have their famous, this time of year, they do their strawberry, what do you call those?
Strawberry shortcakes?
Yes, strawberry shortcakes.
Was there a line around the block? Because usually there is when they start the shortcakes.
Well, the drive-thru was empty, but people were
really?
like, well, this was like right at the start of the kind of eclipse, so people were like already looking up at the sky. So people that had come to the restaurant were all like in the parking lot, like milling around looking up with their glasses. So at that time, so yeah, this was like right at 12:30. You know how it kind of started, or 12:40, like it kind of started in that realm. You know, the moon. You know, the moon starts to cover. Anyway, so and then we drove to downtown. We did drive past Berry Hill Park, which was busy, and you ended up at Berry Hill, which Berry Hill
for a little while.
Yeah, Berry Hill is a place that's busy because of the pickleball courts lately, but it did have a lot of people. I mean, I think 250. I mean,
probably that sounds accurate. Well,
there weren't thousands, but there were people. So.
No, we didn't stay, too terribly long. I did my shift at the university, then we walked across and just kind of hung out and let the kids play at the park. And then I looked at my husband. I'm like, I kind of want to watch this from, our land, my grandpa's land out 16 in North Searcy. So we loaded up and went there, and I watched it with my mom. So I liked that. I liked being able to sit out there with lawn chairs and watch it. My mother thought it was great. She had a good time.
I will say, we'll get into that in a minute, but that was what we did, people. But let's talk about the eclipse.
Yes, and I don't have like an amazing story today. I mean, I worked and then I went and watched the eclipse with my mom. The end. That was my eclipse story. I didn't travel to some distant land. I didn't wait in a line. I didn't do any of the things. I just sat there and watched it, and my kids were really kind of excited because they'd never seen anything quite like this. My middle son was a little bit scared of it all. And I think he reads too many comic books, but I was a little bit nervous about my 2-year-old being out there with all that. So he stayed inside for the majority of the eclipse. So just because I'm a nervous Nelly, yeah. So let's just talk a little bit about why this was such an important day. Now, the first reason is because this is the first full solar eclipse that the state of Arkansas has had in a number of years. There has been 2 since Arkansas was purchased, in the Louisiana Purchase. There's only been 2 full solar eclipses that have crossed this state. One in 1834 and then another one in 1918. So we're talking over 100 years. The first one was in 1834, and it occurred while Arkansas was still a territory. It didn't become a state until a couple years later. Now, that totality path crossed the territory from west to east, and it basically went from Fayetteville to Helena. And so, like, the whole state got to see it at that point. And
did it state how long?
Yeah.
The eclipse.
The totality they say was about 36 seconds.
Oh, wow. That's quick. Okay.
Yeah, that was a quick one. And what was our totality today?
Our totality, it stated that it was I believe it was right under 3 minutes, like 2 minutes and 50-something seconds.
It was pretty cool.
The thought, yes.
Yeah.
That was our planned totality. And up in Batesville, it stated the totality was around 4 minutes or so. I don't know. That was what they spoke of that was on the internet or the Facebook. Okay,
so the second total eclipse of the Arkansas,
of the
Arkansas. No, I'm kidding. Was in 1918, and that was a Saturday afternoon, and the moon shadow entered the state near Mena, and it went diagonally across the state and exited near Eudora, Arkansas. And the duration was 1 minute, 11 seconds of totality.
So this was quite better.
Yes.
Than
it really
early
was.
1900s. It did say, I found this little tidbit if you like this. Not everyone had full totality, like in the U.S. So it did say the longest totality in the North Americas or whatever, or in this solar eclipse was in Toronto, Torreon. I don't know. I can't say that. Torreon, Mexico, and it was 4 minutes and 28 seconds. So if Batesville really was at the 4-minute mark, they were almost at the maximum experience.
That's pretty cool. I haven't heard from anyone I know who lives in Batesville or who went to Batesville, but I'm sure they have some cool stories.
Yeah, I don't know.
So let's jump in.
Hey, if you were in that area, phone us,
Yes.
Call us on your cell phone.
All right, so now.
That's a little Drake for you. Sorry.
I didn't even know you knew Drake. Okay.
I know Drake.
All right, so let's talk about some myths having to do with the eclipse. The first one comes from Norse mythology. And according to Norse mythology, Skull is a wolf that chases the sun through the sky every day, trying to eat her. And Skull has a brother, Haiti, who chases the moon. And so that's how we ended up with the eclipse, right?
Cool.
Yeah.
In the mythology.
In that mythology, yes. Okay, so, and this is all from the exploratorium.edu, which I used to use this when I was a teacher. It's a really cool website. Now, from the Navajo perspective, eclipses are a time of renewal, and the Navajo people did recognize that it was very dangerous to look directly at the sun, which if we heard that once, we heard that a million times over the last few weeks.
I do have a little story about a personal tragic story about myself. So my glasses they were a little big, okay? Those little flimsy little glasses that you have. And the ones I used were passed out from the STEM Coalition, or not, from Energy for the Arkansas STEM Coalition. So they were good ones, but they weren't fitting. So at several points I was looking up and I was like, because I looked directly at the sun, and I was like, so I can attest that it is not a good idea, because it did hurt and it was a situation. But then I learned to put my sunglasses over them to keep them in place, and that helped my situation.
Right. Well, in Navajo tradition, they would make their people go into their hogans or their dwellings and wait it out. Probably a smart thing if they didn't have the glasses.
We did have people where we went to our church downtown, and some people had the colander. Did you see the colander trick? Did you see that? So you could get a colander and basically yeah. It's kind of like the box trick or the plate trick, but it was pretty cool. You could see the shadow was, you could see the shape. So if you didn't have glasses, you could use a colander with the holes. Yeah. I wasn't very impressed by it, but it was neat. I had glasses so I could look at it, but I mean, if you're in a pinch, it's fine.
Yeah.
So, the Navajo didn't have colanders, though.
No. Well, I mean, they could have had something that maybe looked like one. Who knows? I don't know.
Paper plates, a box. No, they didn't.
Okay,
they just hid.
So, other mythologies. Of course, now, we're talking about mythology, and of course, these came about because people were trying to figure out why these natural things were happening. Why the sun, goes down in the evening and comes back every morning. Why the moon does what it does. All the things. They were trying to figure out the reasons for the natural occurrences that they were seeing. And these were in very early cultures. Now, in Tahitian myth, the sun and the moon are lovers. And they have a rendezvous during the eclipse and kind of get lost in the moment. And that's how we have stars, because they created the stars. Then in German mythology, this is the hot female sun. I swear this is what it says. The hot female sun and the cold male moon are married. The sun rules the day and the sleepy moon rules the night.
That sounds
Seeking
right.
companionship, the moon is drawn to his bride, and they come together to create a solar eclipse. Aw, that's weird.
That's just precious and weird.
Yeah. Okay, so in Southeast Australia, they also have some mythology, and one of the myths is about eclipses. The sun is known as a woman named Yi, and the moon as a man called Baloo. Yi falls in love with Baloo and chases him across the sky. And Yi tells the spirits that hold up the sky that if they let Baloo escape, she will plunge the world into darkness. So that's a total eclipse. There we go. A medicine man would recite magical chants to combat this evil omen.
Total eclipse of the heart.
I didn't need background music. No, okay, so and probably the neatest one though is I hate that song, and I can say it now because the eclipse is over. Now, the Mayans of Mesoamerica observed and recorded eclipses, and they actually could predict them. They used the Dresden Codex, named after the city that houses the original document, and they would record eclipse prediction tables for solar eclipse, lunar eclipse, all the things. And the Mayans were able to, like I said, predict eclipse seasons, although they couldn't really do the precise locations that they would be available.
Question.
Yes.
Because the Mayans did also try to predict the end of the world.
Oh, well, I guess they were wrong about that one.
So my question was, were they even correct about these eclipse timetables?
Well, I think that they were...
Did you leave? Am I here?
No, I had to plug up my computer. I don't know. I mean, the Mayan calendar was pretty... It was pretty inventive and innovative for its time, right? And this is pre-Columbian, Columbian or Columbus stuff, all that. Now, you can look at reproductions of their eclipse calendars online, and they're pretty cool. Now, whether they were right, I don't know. Maybe.
We've proven them wrong once before.
Well,
it's
I mean,
it's
all I
okay,
remember
Mayans.
about
It's
the
okay.
2012 is that terrible John Cusack movie.
Hey, no. Are
You
talking
liked
about the
that
one
movie?
Are you talking about the one that had Jake Gyllenhaal in it?
No, that's not 2012. That's The Day After Tomorrow, which was
I
a
like
fantastic movie.
I
yes.
really like The Day After Tomorrow.
No, this one was called 2012, and it was,
I
to
don't
me,
think I
a
watched
disappointment.
all of 2012. Maybe I need to watch all of it. I don't think I've watched all of it.
Yeah,
We'll
I have, and I'm not going to watch it again. All right, so in Transylvanian folklore, an eclipse occurs when the angry sun turns away and covers herself with darkness in response to a human's bad behavior.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that
Gotta
probably
blame
happens
someone.
quite a bit. Yeah. Yep. So yeah, those are some neat little things about eclipses.
Do you
Very
want to
neat.
hear a little tidbit
Sure.
about eclipses? So, the internet, something you might have heard of, it did say the greatest eclipse timetable, like of totality, was 18 hours, 18 minutes, and 29 seconds.
Oh wow.
That's long.
Yeah.
Like that is huge. It doesn't state where that happened, but it did say that was the greatest eclipse.
That's pretty interesting.
This is also the internet, so I don't know if this is like drunk uncle information or Mayan, people's predictions. But anyway, just saying that I thought that was crazy because I will say our totality, was, the 2 minutes and whatever,
Right.
Several seconds. But it was, even Elle and even Daryl said this, it was kind of creepy. It was kind of creepy for them, like to see, in the middle of the day, and it was very sunny here. We had good coverage. We did not have cloud coverage.
It was a beautiful day for an eclipse.
Yes. It was perfect weather. So it was weird. And we were downtown. So it was so dark, the street lights came on and the courthouse, we could see the courthouse, it lit up. So it was very interesting. And I didn't find it creepy. They found it kind of creepy, but I thought it was
I can see that.
It was awesome. I was like, I could live this life every day. So
Well,
maybe I need to go to Alaska.
Yeah. I mean, the dark doesn't bother me either. But total solar eclipses have been feared and revered, according to High Point Scientific magazine
According to
for
your
years.
middle child, he was freaking out.
Yeah, well, and he's not alone. According to this magazine, High Point Scientific, it's well known that cultures around the world do fear eclipses. A lot of people believe they're bad omens. Astrologers could potentially lose their lives if they failed to predict one. I don't. That's weird. This is according to High Point Scientific, not me. Okay. For example, in numerous cultures, it was believed the sun was being devoured, and witnesses would make loud noises to scare the attacker away. And for pagans, eclipses represent a favorable occasion to seek communion with their gods and goddesses, and are perceived as symbolic of fresh beginnings, growth, and personal transformation. And then, meanwhile, the Navajo, like I said, treat solar eclipses a little differently. They're very solemn. They treat them with respect. They, like I said, a lot of them go into the hogans, or they did, during the eclipses.
Well, they had a level of fear there, too.
Yes, yes. Well, in common sense, because it does hurt your eyesight if you look straight at it.
It does.
Yeah. Now, the first total I was going to start with the song lyrics. Oh, my goodness. The first one was like in 1200 BCE. So it was the first recorded one. I'm sure there were eclipses before, but the first one that was recorded was like in 1235 BCE. And so these instances have been recorded and have mystified humanity for thousands of years. Humans love an eclipse. They really do. So this wasn't hard to understand why lots of people came to Arkansas. Now, we didn't have as many as we thought we would have. I think they predicted 1.5 million in the state of Arkansas, but I don't really know how many we actually got. In Searcy, I don't think we got as many as we thought. A lot of them, I think, were in counties and cities that probably had higher populations. I know there were a lot of people in Russellville, for sure. And, there was supposedly a lot of people in Hot Springs, but I don't know if it was because of the eclipse or the Derby or what.
Yeah. Hot Springs is pretty popular in general, but maybe...
Yeah, I love going to Hot Springs. It's my favorite.
So in 2017, we did have, an eclipse, but it was not a full, it was like a, what was it, like a partial or whatever?
Yeah.
Nothing shut down, nothing, but evidently there had been like a total eclipse, because I was asking Daryl, like, kind of where this mindset came from of thinking that there would be so many, but evidently there was a state that did have in the U.S., I think mentioned Wisconsin or something, that had, just kind of bombarded. There was accidents. They weren't prepared. They weren't ready. And so the whole total eclipse, like people coming into the state, kind of bombarded. So I think everybody wanted to be ready.
Prepared, yeah.
Yes, but I guess to me, from what I can see, we were told that there would be so many people here. And then I think basically the local people that are normally at events and normally in town weren't in town. I think a lot of people stayed home. So when we were driving,
you're right.
A lot of people, like even we were talking with our pastor at the church, we had like 50 there, you had a couple hundred at the park, but a lot of people were just watching it, like they were walking outside of their business, and a lot of the businesses closed today. They either closed completely or they closed at noon. The schools were not in session, so, the Lions Stadium, I was told the Lions Stadium did not have very many at all. So I think people just kind of hunkered down and watched from their homes. So
yeah, honestly, I think you're right, and most of my family and friends did, of course, stay home, watch from home, but they do everything from home. They don't like to get out. And they ask me why I get out all the time. Of course, I did listen to Total Eclipse of the Heart, which is a song that I don't like, but I did listen to the whole thing last night. Mm-hmm. Lisa can attest to that. Mm-hmm. And, the reason I don't like it is because, and I've told this story before, but when I was in middle school, it is a great song, but when I was in middle school, there was this interpretive drama group from the high school that would do this Just Say No campaign to the song Total Eclipse of the Heart. And it was this person that was getting into all kinds of drugs and alcohol and almost dying, and everyone dressed all in black and had these signs that said like cocaine and heroin and blah blah blah, and it was so scary when I was like 11 that I think it rewired something in my brain, because every time I hear
that song.
I guess, because every time I hear it on the radio, I immediately turn it. Because I hated it when we would get those little drama things, those interpretive drama teams. And I always disliked that. I mean, they were always, doing that kind of stuff in church camps in the 90s. Let's have a dramatic telling of whatever. It was too much. It was too much for my little mind at the time. And so I guess I now forever dislike that song because I do turn it. And it was painful to listen to it last night, but I felt like we really had to.
Well, of course you have to. I think Daryl hates it, and he played it for us as we drove around today. And then Fran played it while we enjoyed the Eclipse stuff. But
I played Black
Bonnie
Hole Sun.
Tyler.
Yeah.
That's a good Bonnie Tyler, Total Eclipse of the Heart. If you were in one of the countries that are listening, go check out that Total Eclipse of the Heart. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, see, I like
turn around.
Oh gosh. See, I like Ain't No Sunshine by Bill Withers, Dancing in the Dark, Bruce Springsteen. Yeah, I was kind of going in a different direction. Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me, Elton John. Yeah, you're right. Pink Floyd has Eclipse, the song
Pink Floyd
Eclipse.
has Eclipse, yes.
Mm-hmm. From the Dark Side of the Moon in 1973.
And then you can also always read the Twilight series Eclipse book.
Oh, yeah. My friend had a T-shirt that was so cute, and it said something about the books and the eclipse. And,
the eclipse.
And, that's the only eclipse they cared about was the Twilight eclipse.
Yes, I did see. I told you I saw a cute meme. I don't even remember all the parameters about that meme on the Facebook, but it was about the eclipse, but it was about the book. And were you Team Edward?
I was Team Nobody. I just never got in. I never got into Twilight.
Did you
I liked Harry Potter. Of course, everybody did back then.
I love
I loved Harry Potter, but I was not a big Twilight fan. I mean, I watched the movies because they're good movies, but it's not like something I need to watch over and over again, and it's not something I need to read over and over again.
Were you Team
I said
Jacob?
What I said. I mean, I guess if I was in high school, probably. Probably. Yeah, I don't think I would be Team Edward. And that's just in a situation where I was a high school girl. Yeah. So, speaking of Eclipse, the movie, there are several movies that are about eclipses. And I pulled a couple that I thought were funny. And your favorite movie, well, not your favorite, but I guess your favorite one about an eclipse is on the list, that Dolores Claiborne. Now, is that a Stephen King? Yeah, that's a Stephen King.
It's a Stephen King novel made into a movie with Kathy Bates again, and she's already done one of his. She did Misery, but that is a quintessential eclipse movie. It's a good movie in general. It's a little bit disturbing, but it is like most Stephen King things are. But I love it. I love Stephen King.
Well, my favorite Eclipse movie came out in 1988, and it's called The Seventh Sign, and it's starring Demi Moore, and it is such a classic movie. She's, like, pregnant throughout the movie. Demi. Did I say Demi? Is it Demi or Demi? Demi or Demi? I don't know. Whatever.
So this is a Seinfeld episode. George Costanza goes, well, I've never heard of a semi tractor trailer. Anyway.
Well, I know something it's Demi. About that. Well, it's Demi
Watch
Lovato.
That. I live.
Yeah. Well, it's Demi Lovato, I know for sure.
Demi Lovato, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so is it Demi Moore or is it Demi?
They spell it the same, right? I don't know.
Yeah, they spell it the same. I don't know, but I watched that movie.
Demi Moore. I don't know.
Well, I watched it back in high school, and I really liked it. It's really good. It's like about the end of the world, and like you go through all the signs and whatnot. So I don't think... Have you ever seen that movie?
Okay.
It's really good. It's a good movie. And, it's just like an 80s, like... It's like an 80s end of the world kind of scary movie, and I don't know, I like it. Now there's one that I haven't seen, and probably I want to see, and it's called The Watcher in the Woods, and this is on Disney, and I think this predates us. I think this is more for the we're baby Gen X or elder millennial, but this is probably for the staunch Gen Xers. They could probably tell us what this movie is, but it's called The Watcher in the Woods, and it's got a pretty good cast. It has Betty Davis in it, and then it also has Kyle Richards from that Housewife show. Yeah, and it's a mystery novel that was turned into a book.
Does she have Betty Davis eyes?
I don't know. Speaking of 80s songs, I don't like that one either. Yeah, I don't like that one either. But yeah,
you don't like that. I don't like that one either. Is that Rod Stewart or something? Yeah.
Betty Davis. I know it's Kim.
Moving forward,
Kim
The Watcher
something.
in the Woods.
Yes, The Watcher in the Woods. We are getting like all kinds of sideways today. Yeah, Watcher in the Woods. We need to watch that one. It actually looks really good. It's like kind of hokey Disney, but do you remember how in the 80s everything was so scary? Like, I think of the scariest movies, they were kids movies, and there's all kinds of memes running around now that talk about how scary our movies were, and it's true. Like, the one that scared me the most to this day is the Return to Oz and the Wheelers, right? And so
Return to Oz. That was creepy.
Yes. So in some
disturbing.
of these little memes and lists of scary stuff, I've seen The Watcher in the Woods as, listed, but I didn't know really what it was about, and now I see it again here. So it must be something we need to check out. And I think they may have made another version of it. They may have. There may be a newer version, but I want to see the version with Betty Davis. But yeah, that is so true. It's rated PG, but it may be scary as all get out, because most of those 80s movies were. Like The Rats of Nymph. Do you remember that movie?
Yes.
Mrs. Frisbee and the Rats of Nymph. That scared me to death. And I don't like watching it. The Black Cauldron scared me. So maybe I was just easy to scare. And then, of course, The Neverending Story scared me a lot, and made me cry when the horse.
Scary
the horse. Oh, yeah.
But the songs are legendary.
Yeah, from what? From the Neverending Story. Yeah,
yes.
I'm glad that Stranger Things brought that back. So, So yeah, what movie scared you guys the most, listeners? Yeah. I know that a lot of you are Gen X or early millennials, so there was a ton of scary movies that were not supposed to be scary. They were supposed to be rated G, PG. And I think we got the crap scared out of us at a very early age in the early 80s and late 80s too. Yeah, some of those came out in like 87, 88, 89.
What was that one? Do you remember that one? Was it Witches?
Oh god, yes. That one scared me too. Angelica Houston. Yes. Oh my goodness. She was like really pretty, and then she had she pulled it off and she was a witch, that wasn't as pretty. Yes. Oh yeah, that was scary.
It was very scary. Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a ton of them. And whoever figured that out, because I've seen that meme so many times, but it is 110% true what filmmakers were letting us watch at that time. So if you have seen The Watcher in the Woods, let us know. Let us know where to stream it. I'm sure we can find it on Amazon or Disney. It looks like a Disney movie, but that says nothing, because there's several Disney movies from the 80s that are a little bit iffy. You would like, it says an American family moves into a British country house only to encounter malevolent ghosts. The ghost of the owner's daughter, long missing, torments the family's young girl. Ooh. So I don't know where an Eclipse comes into all that, but it did pull up, movies about.
It popped up.
Yeah, right next to Team Edward and Team Jacob over here.
The actual Eclipse movie.
The
Twilight Saga movie.
Yeah. Yes. So I'm about eclipsed out. I think I will be fine until the next one in 2045. I think I'm done.
Of people.
Yeah, and I think it's because we've been talking about it for 2 years.
Yeah, it was.
I think
it was
we're
a
all
lot
worn
of
out.
hype.
It was a lot of hype, but isn't everything in Arkansas? That is the true unexplained thing about Arkansas. Why does everything get so much hype so quickly? Yeah.
Yes.
So
it was a big, to do.
It was a big to do, as my grandmother said.
But
it was a big to do.
And it was an extremely, if you did get to witness it, it was an extremely cool event. Like going it was very hot and sunny, and then all of a sudden, it's not, and it's dark.
Oh,
and
it dropped like 7 degrees, and that was pretty fabulous right there. I mean, it felt so nice being out there on my mama's front porch watching this eclipse. It was really sweet. I really enjoyed being with her, and she's a big fan of our show, by the way, so she'll love the shout out. So.
Paula K.
Paula K. Paula K. Yes, that
Shout
is
out.
true.
She's
that
one of
she
our
was
OGs.
one of our OGs, our original fans. She was, and my aunt Benita. They were talking about party lines and all that after our last episode.
Yeah,
and
party lines.
we really got the conversation going about what party lines were about. And it was like 8 families would share a party line. Back
That's
in
crazy
the 60s, 70s,
to think about.
80s. Yeah, it is. It's crazy. But I think it sounds cool. And I love to eavesdrop. So I would have been so happy. Yeah.
That would have been the quintessential, Saturday night thing to do. Let's just listen to the party line, girls.
Well, what was it Saturday when you picked me up and I said, you didn't bring the scanner? Where's the scanner?
Yeah. I have a
Lisa
police
has a
scanner.
And I love it. I want one.
I know. The bank was so gracious. They knew I wanted one, and they bought me one for my retirement gift. And so long story short, I'm really bad about charging it, but I did put it in my car today, and then I didn't end up using it. But it's very interesting. It's just very loud.
Yes. So at any given time on a Friday or Saturday night, you could see Lisa and I running around in my white 4Runner with a scanner. We don't have a whistle or we don't have a light, so don't worry. But we may have a scanner running around town, and don't ask me why, because we're old ladies and it does it makes us happy. Yeah.
It does make us happy. We've had a big weekend. We went to see the first Omen. We saw the Eclipse. We podcasted. We did our short.
We've done 3 in the last few days.
Yes, and we can wait until Thursday or whatever. But we do have another. I'll be ready for part 2 of Janie Ward.
Oh, good, because I'm tired. I'm not putting one together for a while. No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
I'm just joking. I'm going to put something together.
Yes, because we're busy next week, and we have Elle's Big Sweet 16 party. And
you mean this week? It's Saturday, right?
Oh, goodness, yeah, it's this week.
Yeah. Well, I think the next one I do is going to be on the Birdfall in BB. And then I'm looking into a pet cemetery in Arkansas. So I'm going to try to find some more information from one of our buddies that, we know a guy. We know a guy in Arkansas we know a guy.
We know a guy.
Everything about cemeteries in Arkansas.
Yeah.
His name may or may not be Morton. We don't know. It could possibly be Kip. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure what he goes by.
Alias.
Yeah, he does have an alias. And so when I need something, he's the guy. He's the guy I go to.
He's the cemetery guy.
And I love to look at his Facebook page. It is amazing. He's got graves from all over Arkansas, and he takes great photos, and he has stories, and he puts newspaper articles with them. And while I'm bragging on him, let me go ahead and pull him up and pull up his site so I can draw. It's Morton Otwell Girdneck, and we have talked about him before, but and my son is blowing up my phone over here, by the way.
I believe he's given us some listener tales.
Oh yeah, correct. Morton Otwell Girdneck, and his real name is Kip. Yes, and so he's really interesting. And if you like this kind of thing, he does it as well. And he'll add a newspaper story to a lot of his tales and a lot of his photos. And so I get ideas from him sometimes to expand on this show.
He does historian work.
He's a historian. He's a historian, and he's really cool, and we appreciate him, and we appreciate all our other OG listeners. And someday
he's an OG.
Yeah, he's an OG. Yes, but someday we'll list out all our OGs and say a big thank you, because there were people that were listening to us when there was I don't know, a total of 20. Well, there was one episode, a total of maybe 18 people, and 16 of them we were related to. So, yeah.
Yes. Well, I will, since you mentioned Facebook, we do have our Facebook group, obviously Unexplained Arkansas. So I posted a picture of, there is a mural downtown of the total eclipse, or just the eclipse, going on in Arkansas. And so I did post that picture, and it has gone wild. People are it's a very beautiful mural. It is in downtown Searcy, Arkansas, if you want to see it in person, which I recommend. But I will say a lot of people are asking about it. So go on to our Facebook group. You can check out that post. And also, it's White's artwork. And he has a Facebook group on the Facebook as well. And I believe he's selling postcards of this mural, this wall mural. And it's just really cool. Like, so check
I want
that
one
out.
of those.
I know, go on that. It looks like something definitely up your alley. Get it? Alley. We've got an art alley. We have an art alley in Searcy too. So we have a lot of
I love that too.
Mural artwork, and then we have art alley. So shout out to Searcy for being cool, and people, I understand, wanted to stay home. But I will say the Searcy Event Center, I did have a friend out there. They had an event today for the Eclipse, and she thought there were 500 people or so. Now,
that's
again,
pretty good.
Not the thousands, but all the locals, that's with several locals. But typically when we do events, there are quite a few people. I think people just, like we talked about, wanted to watch the eclipse from the safety and comfort of their, homes,
and there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I went and, ran to my mother's as soon as I was off work. So, cause I wanted to hang out with her. But okay. So while we're talking about plugging things, remember that we do also have a library tour that we're scheduling for the summer. So we want to see you guys. If you have a librarian that that would be interested in us coming and talking about what we do, about how to podcast, and all these unexplained legends, myths, stories, cold cases in Arkansas, we would love to come see you. No place is too far. Is that a song?
Yeah.
Well, no place is too far. Please don't sing. But we'll go anywhere in Arkansas, because we really want to go from border to border this year. That's one of our goals, to meet our listeners all over the place. So that is it. That's all we have.
Yeah,
and
that's all we have. So
it's a short one.
Things.
Yes, go do all the things.
Follow us definitely on the Facebook. Go check out our posts. Please like, review, subscribe, do all the things, and email us, and talk about yourself. Talk about what you like, and tell us about you. So.
Yes, we love to hear from y'all. All right, have a great day, and happy Eclipse.
Happy Eclipse. Bye.